I'm Dr. C. Victor Herman III, and I'm taken to the house.
I'm Dr. Timothy Hoover, and I'm taking it to the house. If we sound hoarse, if we sound raspy, if we sound a little exhausted, please forgive us because this last weekend was a celebration on many fronts. Proud grandpa here, proud daddy there. LSU probably will never be the same. And we tried to turn out Houston. We sure did. My grandson just graduated. My first grandson just graduated. So I want to say congratulations to you, Eli, and congratulations to you, Mr. Vic. Your damn namesake walked across the stage. Matter of fact, I saw the video. He tried to act out, man. Q Dog was in full effect. Well, congratulations to you and Quarter and for this momentum to walk across the stage and graduating from a prominent school as well at LSU.
Bruh, you said it all. It's a surreal moment. I can imagine as a grandfather watching your three daughters graduate. Now get to watch the next level of your lineage, that next generation to go through. And so as I now enter a stage where you once was, watching my firstborn walk across that stage of a collegiate level. Again, as you stayed at LSU, what they've been able to see from a sports perspective over his last 4 years, the national championship of the women's basketball team, national championship of his baseball team, national championship of gymnastics. I mean, he had an opportunity to see some phenomenal sporting events. Playing Alabama and watching getting Brian Kelly and watching players that he went to class with like Jay Daniels, Wingo, that's now drafted with Detroit Lions, who happens to be our frat brother, and Frazier. All these events in a 4 year experience as you go from boy to man. It was great, and then watch it culminate with such a magnificent event. I recall my graduation, but my graduation is minuscule. When there's two graduations, I can remember my mom's graduation a couple years ago, and then my son, and
Yeah.
just to witness that, man, the emotion that you overcome by it was wonderful. So
Yeah.
it's a great weekend for the family as we're
Yes.
celebrating. You stated, we got the whole Southwest on lock. Texas and Louisiana,
Yes, sir.
there's not a lot happening on Interstate 10 because the HHB had Interstate 10 locked down between two states.
Yes, 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 yes. So congratulations. And by the way, I don't know if you heard, but Eli, he'll be attending Penn State of all colleges. He decided to go to the East, a
All
little bit
right, let's
cold,
go.
leaving
Hey,
home, but he's
let's
going to be
go.
getting into bioengineering. Set the stage to all of our fans. We just want to say it's graduation time, graduation season. I don't care if it's high school. I don't care if it's middle school. I don't care if it's college or grad school. Celebrate with your family. This is a family show. We're all about family. Sports is fun, sports is nice, but family we take very seriously. So, whatever your family member is going through, be a part of it. Celebrate with them. Bro, we got some basketball to talk about.
Bruh, let's get it in. Opening salvos, man. NBA playoffs is here. We're now at these conference finals. We spoke about it last week. We spoke about it last week.
Here it is.
Here it is, bruh. Here it is. Look, any feedback you have for the last round? Because there's a 7 game series that went down in OKC.
Yes. Yes.
And what'd you think about that? What was your experience? And are the right teams here playing for this Western Conference Finals and Eastern Conference Finals that's supposed to be here?
Let's talk. Let's start off in the Western Conference Finals. Okay, so OKC, they had to do damage against Denver. Went seven games, and all year long, OKC was favored and were favored in that series until the game was played. You still got to play to win the game. Denver is that old bull. They're old school. They know the nuances. They know how to pace the game. They know how to slow it down. And Joker is that kind of guy. He likes to play at his own pace. So OKC had to overcome 7 games. Thank goodness. Why do you want to be the number one seed? To have that seventh game on your court. and they were challenged. And so now they're faced against the Timberwolves. Timberwolves went up against Golden State. Wasn't much of a match. How did they get there? Beating Golden State. Steph was hurt. So it's Timberwolves against OKC in the Western Conference Final. Trying to set the stage. So bear with me here. Rest versus rust. That's going to be huge for this first game. Rest versus rust. And both teams are relatively young. However, they know they have that playoff experience, both of them. So rest usually favors an older team, but these are not older teams. OKC still has home court. And so here's what I want to tell you. I don't think Minnesota's going to win this first game. A lot of people are thinking that Minnesota's going to beat OKC on this first game because of rest. I don't necessarily believe that because Minnesota don't play consistent basketball, consistent high-level basketball. So that matters. Plus, OKC is just fresh. They're warm. They're in sync. So they're ready to go. They're on fire. So this first game, Minnesota really does want this first game, but I just don't see it happen. Where are you at?
Bruh, we talked about it in the green room, Ferraris, Lambos. These are both two Lamborghinis, both Lambos, Lotuses, Porsches, straight off the factory. And they have V8, V12 engines. They're revving. They want to test it out. Who cares about rest and rust? These boys don't get tired.
Yes.
So that, as you stated, that is an old man's concept. Well, what's more important, rest or rust? This team has been waiting for a week. Man, who gives up? Because these boys just want to play ball. And I'm excited about this series. I'm already going to go out on a limb and say this before I even start talking, dissect the series. I'm all OKC. They got this. What I'm excited about watching tonight's game, Rudy Gobert has had fun the last couple of series. And it's been great. He's been the only big guy. And we haven't seen traditional big guy on big guy crime since the early 90s. And then we look at David Robinson and Shaq. We about to get some big guy on big guy crime this series. Chet Holmgren. And then you got Rudy. Let's go. Both shot blockers, both clog up the paint, both can get at it. So it'll be great to neutralize that. We haven't seen that because you're not going to say Joker's a big guy. Joker is a big guy, but he's not a paint player. So to see what will happen here at that part. Then you got SGA and Ant-Man. That's going to be great. Just that guard play.
Yeah.
Then you got, Conley, the old sage, wise one. And then you got your boy, it's Green. Never get the other cat that's over there on OKC. But there's a three-headed monster both teams present. And young guns coming at it. Mm-hmm. Listen, we may have gave JJ Redick the business for playing his guys for 48 minutes. These boys can play 56 minutes and ask for some more. So I think that's going to be great when it comes down to just watching the excitement of this matchup and how both teams are very hungry and one of them is going to make it to the finals. So this from an NBA landscape perspective, it's exciting to watch. There's going to be a new team in the finals. We know OKC has not been there since Kevin Durant and his crew ran it. And then for Minnesota, who had the Slade Dragons back when we were playing them, when they had Latrell Sprewell and Kevin Garnett, and they had some scary teams, Wally Zerbiak, and we're like, man, this the year they beat us? And they couldn't make it happen then. Then they had another resurgence of a team that just couldn't get it. So to see this team now, after they've already traded away Cat, so it's a lot. They've been rebuilding themselves within the last 3 or 5 years. And there's a famous quote last year, the season before, when they're in the playoffs, and a journalist asked the question, "Do you think y'all supposed to lose now because y'all not hungry?" You said, "Man, what you talking about? We've been losing. We've been losing for 20 years." So I thought that was a great quote. And so I'm very excited about this series, bro. Very excited about these two matchups.
Matchups matter. Foul trouble will be a factor, but they're both deep. I'm trying to figure out who who's really going to guard Julius Randle?
Mm.
He is the difference maker. Dog,
I-
y'all remember what Julius used to do when he was at Kentucky? He used to take whoever into the paint and bruise him, tattoo him, hit him in the chest, drop the shoulder. Chet Holmgren, Chet Holmgren can't hold that. He can't stop him. And whoever else they want to put on it, you almost got to put a small on him. But he put a small on him, he's going to hurt him. And you put a small on, he can take him outside. Who is going to be able to stop Julius? I'm talking about the Julius that was beating Lakers up in the first round. I'm talking about Julius that took Draymond to school in the second round.
Wow.
Who is going to be able to stop him? So you're going to have to come at Julius with waves. You really can't stop SGA. Anthony Edwards is the only person that's going to stop him is himself.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this series because we almost got mirror images of each other when it comes to style, play, as you say, wanted to run. These guys want to run. That Broncos, they're quarter horses. You said Lamborghinis. You said 8 cylinders, 12 cylinders. These dudes, they do want to run. But you know something about the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
It's what you do when you can't run. Can you get me that sure two? When you need a bucket, who do you go to? And that inside presence is not there for either team. So you're going to have to break somebody down and get it to the rim. Otherwise, you're shooting a three. SGA is that guy. So the strength to Minnesota is who's going to stop Randle. Wow. And then OKC, who's going to stop SGA? Because either of them, to me, is a matchup nightmare. And who is going to be the best of those two? Or do they counter each other out? They won't guard one another. It's just there's nobody to guard them. So the team concept really, to me, is where it's going to matter. Coaching is going to matter in how you slow them down when you can't stop either of those two. Ant-Man, we've seen the Ant-Mans of the world. We've seen Kobe Bryant. So Ant-Man is not the first of his kind. We've seen Kobe. We've seen Michael. We've seen a 6'6", 6'7" dude who can go nuclear, jump out the building, and can shoot the three and break down. So that's Ant-Man. And so you almost let Ant-Man do his thing, because if he's doing his thing, then he's neutralizing Randle. Gobert is not getting his points. And so Conley can't do what he does because Ant is hogging the ball. And we know what Kobe used to do. Hog the ball and not get others involved. Ant is going to have to do what he did against the Lakers. We rushed Ant, give up the ball. It'll come back to you. As they say, the ball will find energy. SGA, so the better team right now, you ask me, I don't want OKC to win. I'd like to see Minnesota come up out of here, but OKC is a better team because I think they have greater depth. They got better efficiency from the three-point. And as a team, they're on a string. They will play defense. When you can put Caruso, when you can put Caruso on Jokic and neutralize him, that means you're going to do anything it takes for the team to sacrifice your body and intelligence and execute the game plan to a T. And that's how they ended up. OKC, that's how they ended up in the Western Conference Finals. Great series we're going to be had. And I could see a 6 or a 7-game series. I could see that.
So one quick on the last series. So do you think Caruso or did OKC launch or unleash a cheat code on how to stop Joker?
Well, it's not entirely fair because we are not including the injuries to Michael Porter Jr. And to
well, I mean, just the simple fact that they put Caruso, a significantly smaller player, on Joker, and he kind of shut him down. I mean, was it from a one-on-one perspective, or because they didn't have complementary players? That's why Caruso was effective at shutting down Joker.
So I think, so to answer your question, I think there's a lot to be said for the Jalen, not the Jalen, but the Draymond Greens who have been neutralizing centers for years. That's what's going to get him into the Hall of Fame. Not his 3-point shooting, but what he was being able to do defensively. What is Caruso? About the same height, low center of gravity, and tall guys want another tall guy so who can knock them off the base. Well, somebody's base is already solid. It's hard to get them off that base. And so at the same time, the other four will have to be able to come over when he does want to pivot, when he does want to back you down, come on over. Then you make Jokic a passer. So Jamal Murray and et al. They're going to have to shoot that shot because now they're open because of that. So if you can neutralize Joker, cool. He's not getting assists. He's not getting points. And then he has to go outside. You go outside. Okay, the Carusos of the world are great outside because you're not banging it. So he just foot speed against your foot speed. Caruso wins, but you go down in the paint, we're going to double you, and then therefore everybody else is going to have to do their work. And guess what? When you got Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray not hitting a shot from outside, no one else can hit it consistently. Brown couldn't hit it consistently. Then Denver's they just won't advance. They didn't advance, and that's what eventually got them. So Caruso, the Carusos of the world. Do you have Caruso on your team? Well, I would say Lakers don't. We don't. You can put and how did Lakers get in? Well, we're always going to throw the Lakers in. I think Vandy tried, but Vandy tries to he's too tall, a little, and he's a little bit more stringy. I need a stocky guy. And so we don't have that stocky guy on the Lakers. And so many teams don't have the Draymond Greens or Caruso, somebody who doesn't mind playing physical bigger than their size. That's hard. That's a hard task.
Okay. So one thing you hit a point that unfortunately, and I don't know if this is widespread, but even I talked about Ant, and I talked about Gobert, and I talked about Conley.
Yes,
that was a slap in the face of Randall. Randall is a baller,
yes,
but he's a quiet baller. And for you to highlight, hey, they don't win this series if Randall don't get off.
Yes,
and that he is really the center of gravity. He is the X factor. And there's something to that. He's a beast. And so that is a matchup worth watching, worth observing, analyzing, seeing how do they incorporate him. If he doesn't get off tonight, is that the difference why SGA and his crew can get busy? So I love how you brought that in there. I completely forgot about him, and he is, again, it goes back to his career. He's handling his business, but he's often forgotten about.
You mentioned Minnesota and the trades that they made. Randall wasn't even on this team last year. It was Karl Anthony Towns, and how it worked out for the Knicks as well as Minnesota for each of them to be healthy and to be successful, and both are representing their teams in their respective conferences. So well done by Minnesota, but now it's money time. So the Western Conference, man, we got a full one to look forward to. Let's dip over to the Eastern Conference where we got the Pacers, we got the Knicks, we got a matchup, man, of folks like NASCAR that don't mind trading paint. You hear what I'm saying? They don't mind trading paint. I'm excited. What say you in the Eastern Conference?
Oh, you just hit a great segue. The fact that both teams, you got Minnesota, you got New York. How great would it be? I know I picked the OKC. How great would it be if Minnesota and New York made it to the finals to say, hey, look, that trade worked out for both of us.
Right.
Right. Towns gets there and the Randall gets there. Like, how great that would be. So now you speak about this. I told the fans last week, and y'all can check the tape. You can check my closet. I got pictures. I have been a New York Knicks fan since 1988. I've been in New York. I've been a Los Angeles Lakers fan since I moved to California in the early 80s. So I became a Knicks fan because I followed the Los Angeles Lakers. And then when I moved to New York, guess who else came out there? Pat Riley. So being able to watch that And I can tell you, so yes, don't call me no fair weather fan. I could be just as crazy as the New York fans out there in Madison Square, Times Square. But listen to me here. This right here gives me that eerie feeling, not eerie feeling, just I want to fight. I love how you talked about that NASCAR analogy of touching paint. Because I started thinking about Reggie freaking Miller.
Yeah.
And what he did to us in 8 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. So
man, yeah.
This brings nostalgia to me of those early 90s battles between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. They despise each other. So I'm excited to see Spike Lee on the sidelines doing his thing. I know they'll probably have Reggie commentate a game. I love to see Pat Ewing. The other night I saw John Starks. So I want to see me some Charles Oakley. I want to see my boys because that was a ball back then. And look, don't chump Indiana. They're physical, and I love it seems as if they found their identity. They're not the pretty boy team that you want. They're not the OKC level. Let's shoot and be cute with it. The essence of the Indiana Pacers that I grew up watching was dirty, nasty. I hated them. And they were led by freaking, Reggie Miller. And then when they want to get Mark Jackson over there to run point, I mean, they just had this, they were like, to me, like the Denver Broncos of the NFL, the Buffalo Bills. I just hated them. So this is going to be a great series. It's his New York Knicks series to lose. I believe they are other than the fact they got Karl-Anthony Towns as the new, but I believe they're the more seasoned team. I still think Indiana is a little young. Still think they're prone to making mistakes, but I know they're hungry from last year. And this is also a good matchup from last year in the semifinals where the Knicks had lost Jalen Brunson to injury. So again, barring no injuries, I want to see a great Eastern Conference Finals. I'm picking the Knicks in 6, but it's going to be a great one.
Man, I just want to talk about how we got here. How did the Knicks and the Pacers even get here? Summarily dismissed the Eastern Conference leaders, the Cavs, as well as Boston. Man, I'm like, are these guys for real? If you can do that against Boston, if you can do that against the Cavs, limping injuries, man, that's all part of the game. You play who's in front of you. Then you got to be taken very seriously. I didn't predict that Boston was going to lose a game against the Knicks, let alone only win one. You hear what I'm saying? Did they win 1 or 2? I can't remember, but it looked like they didn't win any the way they played. Yeah, man, Jason Tatum, he tore his Achilles. So wow, that's tough. That's hard. But they've been touted as the favorite. They've been touted as the best team, and you can plug and play. And you can lose to Tatum for a bit, and you come on out, and you can still win. Nobody else showed up. Nobody else showed up. Oh, maybe they did, but the Knicks said we're going to punch anyway. We can be Rocky. Y'all remember Rocky Balboa? We're gonna go in and we're just gonna hurt. We're cracking ribs in the meat locker, okay? We're cracking ribs, and that's what the Knicks did. And eventually, those ribs are going to break, and they did. Boston succumbed. They did succumb to just being a more physical team, that being the New York Knicks. The Pacers, the Cavaliers. Who was the better team? I think the better team won. And so the Pacers really you speak of finding their identity. I think their identity is push it real good, push it real good. And they did that, but they will mess it up, muck it up, and play in the mud, as they say. They don't mind getting dirty. I don't care if it's Nesbitt, Turner, Siakam, whoever, Halliburton's dad. I think he's got a uniform. Everybody's suited up for Indy. They don't mind getting dirty. Having said that, 2 teams that would love to play defense. You talk about old school, early 90s basketball. We might see an 80-80 game. a high score in the 90s. That's what we just might see. And I'm okay with it. Give me some good basketball. Here's the thing. We got more offensive threats on Indiana. More people that can shoot the three and hit the three. That is a big difference. Inside presence is going to matter. So Turner is that guy. He was a shot block leader for a couple of years, and I don't know that Robinson, if he's going to be starting in the middle, Cat, if he's going to be able to sustain himself in the middle. He doesn't like being in the middle, but that makes a difference to be a deterrence at the rim. So that all matters. You got New York. This is a toss-up game. I like to see the first game, but we're about making predictions here. We're about sticking to our guns. And so I'm gonna go against you, my co-host, my brother, my nephew, you know how we do. But I say Indiana is going to win that series. 6, 7, it don't matter. It's just more firepower. The thing about firepower, thing about that is they do want to play more finesse, and this is not going to be a finesse game. I'm talking about Indy. They want to play more finesse. Not in this series. You can't do it in this series. You can't afford to.
Woo! That's good. I don't know anybody other than Halliburton.
Okay.
So I feel like they're a no-name team. I feel like, who are they? Now, what I do like is the clash of these old school coaches, Carlisle and Thibodeau. And I believe you when I hear you say 88 to 90 game, bring me back to nostalgic. I don't need to see 150 points scored. I love to see a game underneath 100. That's good game. That's good ball to me. Provided it's not hoisting up 53 points that are clanking. No, let's take it down, dribble, get to the paint. Let's old school layups and dunks and 3 points occasionally when they need to happen. But I'm good with a good, good competitive, non-sloppy game. Let the swallow the whistles, let them get at it. But bruh, so you believe Indiana is now ready? It is not because I'm taking out of my bias. I'm taking my bias, my personal love for the Knicks out of this. I'm looking at Towns, Hart, Brunson. There's some Abayo there's some Scunyon, there's some firepower coming, and it may be because I don't respect and I'm trying to call my biases, and it may be because I just don't feel that Indiana has that. And but you did say, man, they took out the number 1 seed, and so I gotta respect that they belong here. They did what they need to do to be here.
Yes. The worry for the Knicks fan is an 82 game season, couple of rounds of playoffs when you don't have a bench. Attrition will matter. Foul trouble can matter. And Tibbs, he's going to stick to his guns and he's going to stick to the horses that brought him here. I get it. Loyalty, and he's a great coach, but it also can bite him in the butt now. As much as the Pacers want to run, the Knicks will run, but they will not run as much as the Pacers will. But when you don't have enough horses on the bench to be able to offset, man, give me 10 minutes here, give me a few minutes here. The Hearts of the world, the Bridges of the world, the Brunsons. Cat is going to get his rest because he's just a big guy. He's just going to get his rest. But those 3 main defenders and scorers you're talking about, they're going to need rest. And I don't know that Tibbs will change now. He won't change. I don't expect him to change. And so the firepower that's coming off the bench for the Knicks, pretty much non-existent. So you're going to have to get it from those 5 starters of the Knicks and sustain it. Hopefully it turns out well for you. And so as a Knicks fan, I would be concerned because of the depth.
And that's fair. And I think that's fair because as you shared, I'm looking at the starting 5. You're looking at the 12-man roster, and there's something to say there. Unlike our teams in the West who ready to run all day, They got some depth to them.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Who else on the next team can play another 20, 30, 40 minutes and give that good rest?
Right. Right. Right.
Okay.
So for the record, me and my co-host, we're actually at odds in both of these games. Both of these games, I'm actually going with Minnesota in the Western Conference. I'm actually going with Indiana in the Eastern Conference, and he's going with the opposite team. So we both can't be right. Somebody's going to be wrong, and it'll be a segment all by itself and talking about how we have felt miserably. Don't let me be right on both fronts. I would like a split with my co-host, so we could say, okay, we got one. We did our just due, but that's okay. Somebody's going to come up wrong, and that's okay too. As we get ready to close, my closing salvo is, and we talked about it in the green room. Pete Rose coming off the blacklist, being eligible for the Hall of Fame, and that's all, being eligible, and there won't be a vote for a couple of years. And I would say this, and you heard me say this before. Pete Rose was one of my idols coming up. Matter of fact, I patterned my baseball game after Pete Rose. You talking about the head first dives and playing like Charlie Hustle at all times. I don't care if it was an all-star game, a pickup game. I don't care if it was us playing spoons. It was Charlie Hustle. It's unfortunate that he passes away and then gets his opportunity to be recognized. It's unfortunate. But I agree with the commissioner to this point. He bet against bet against baseball, and then he lied on it. So you double down, and so that is the cost, and it's unfortunate. However, his heir, his legacy will be left, and to be enshrined will be a great thing for the Rose family, not for Pete, but for the Rose family. So I'm in concordance with everything that has happened. It's unfortunate. Matter of fact, it hurt to even know that he did bet, and it hurt to know that then he lied on it. But I like when you go through manure, a rose is still going to be a rose, and guess what? Pete Rose will rise up out of this.
I love that salvo. I love that closing statement, because what I think about is, yes, he got banned. Now we talk about, is he eligible for Hall of Fame? Should be yes. Because the other thing, he didn't bet while he was a player. He did as a manager.
Yeah.
So then within baseball, you can be voted in the Hall of Fame as a manager or as a player. So he did not do this. All those accomplishments he did was as a player. So, let's give the man his just due. But I love that closing comment. My closing comments, next week is a day for us that's very important. Next Monday is Memorial Day. Families, this is that time to take a knee, take a moment of silence for those who gave it all. Some of us give some, and some of us give it all. And for those that gave it all, we're indebted to you. Even as fellow service members, we know your sacrifice is not in vain. And thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, because some of us are here because you gave it all for us in the hardest of times of combat. So this weekend, family, I talk family as our fans, is a weekend to pay homage to those who gave it all. This is Memorial Day. The time to recognize, say thank you for your service is Veterans Day. I look forward to hearing that then. This weekend is not always my funnest weekend. I do take a lot of time to really pay homage to some of my fallen comrades I served with. So again, much love to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for this country. And as you all spend your weekend, pay time to all that. Love y'all. Till next week. See ya. What you got for us?